Yeah.
I'm going to put my phone on airplane mode.
Oh.
Sully, anyone?
Look, we could all land a plane.
Too soon still.
Oh, he
Okay.
was drunk, maybe.
I want to get him on the
What
show.
wasn't even really a negative thing. I still think it's too soon.
Yeah, it's just too soon.
Honestly, he had his fucking moment.
Look, all right.
We're done with him.
I feel like every person deserves their Sully, you know?
Yeah, I think it's the new term for 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
Let's save this. This
Pulling
is,
us Sully. Hey.
this is good content.
Can you imagine the confrontation in the rom-com we didn't watch where it was like, you're just after a Sully, okay?
You're just trying to sully me. Oh, wait. No, that actually works.
Pretty funny, guys. Hey, and welcome to the Meet Cute podcast, where we talk about all things romantic comedy, but mostly the bad ones. My name is Haley.
I'm Zach.
I'm Eddie P.
And oh man, I love this movie. I'm just so excited that we're all here and we're together. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Today's movie is The Revenant. And that's why Haley loves it so much.
Yep. 2001's The Revenant,
Yep.
starring a bear.
And Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox.
I won't
as the
see
bear.
that. I haven't seen that movie, but I'm like fundamentally against that Oscar win because that's the one where they were like, he really ate a fish and threw up, or really ate, what the fuck did he do? He really did something
don't know.
dangerous
I
to
didn't
his,
like
his
that
body.
movie.
And I hate when actors are just like, she actually lost 200 pounds and learned how
Yeah.
to kill a deer alone in the wilderness. I'm like, who the fuck cares? She's an
Well, what
actor.
about-
She shouldn't have to do
What
that.
about Christian Bale, who's really
I
cool?
hate Christian
at,
Bale.
No, fuck that.
Whoa.
I don't like Christian Bale.
Ooh, unpopular opinion.
Because I don't like. Why do we praise a guy who's doing bad things, did a bad thing on set? Like, he's bad to work with, but we terrorize Katherine Heigl.
Speaking of bad to work with,
Because
this
she
segues
was-
right into this movie, actually. Apparently, he is terrible to work with.
Really?
And they did not get along on set.
We can't get into this yet without introducing
I
our
know.
guest, you guys.
Oh my goodness.
Who do you think we're talking about?
On our show today, we have a very special guest. We have singer-songwriter Tucker. You've heard his voice on SNL, Nickelodeon, iHeartRadio, and of course, he's 1/3 of Peter, Paul, and Carly. Tucker, welcome to the show.
It is a honor.
Whoa. You know that's a silent H.
Well, in my world,
Loud
anything
H.
goes. Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. And I thought this movie would just be perfect since you are a singer-songwriter, and this movie is just based around a singer-songwriter. It is called Music and Lyrics, 2007's Music and Lyrics, starring my father. Just kidding. Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant.
Hey, Hal, I booked a movie.
I'm going to be in music and lyrics.
That's not what my dad
I
says.
think that's what your dad sounds
My
like.
dad actually has a pretty good impression of my father. It's like,
I have a good impression. Your dad has a great impression of your father.
oh, I meant to say
Your
Zach.
dad knocks it out of the park.
Freudian. All right.
We're really capturing the essence of the
yes.
relationship. This is it.
Tucker, as far as rom-coms go, what do you feel about them? Do you like them generally? Are you picky?
I love a good rom. I love a good com. I love a good rom-com. I feel particular feelings about this film because I've been told that I need to see it for a very, very long time.
Oh, okay.
But I've never actually done it because when I hear about films that relate to music in some sort of like fictitious way, I get very nervous. But I was tasked with watching this one, and I am ready to talk.
Wonderful.
I liked this movie in 2007 when I saw it, and I honestly think
it
it
hold up?
holds the fuck up. I enjoyed myself so much. And you didn't? I'm looking at Edward's face, and you were always wrong.
First of all, we're all sitting here under God's eye, not acknowledging his new glasses, and I think that's fucked up.
He's had these for a while.
They're limited edition Warby Parker.
He hasn't had these for. This
Yes, he has.
This is the first time seeing of them.
They've been here for a while.
Am I wrong?
I think I wore them to your birthday party, but
I mean, that was all about me.
you were chugging them. You were knocking them back.
I'm gonna pay attention to other people at my birthday.
Yeah, excuse me.
Hold on. Let's talk talk about the real important thing about that party, the cake.
Oh, the cake was dynamite.
Was
You guys, you know what? We'll post a picture of the cake on Instagram.
Yeah, and not this.
not this.
You'll get a picture of the cake. Haley made
Music
me this
and
cake.
lyrics and cake.
And cake.
Speaking of the Revenant, I love bears, and Haley.
This all works out.
This is not a bit. Zach
No,
loves a bear.
I love bears. They're great. And I recently saw a picture of a shaved bear. That was interesting.
What?
Yeah, I've seen one of those.
They get so
it's
small.
Weird. It's not good.
Yeah, I'm like give that bear some fur. Haley made me a cake, and she decorated it like it was a forest, and there was bears. Oh, it was the best.
Aw, thanks.
I enjoyed it so much while I ate it, and even while I was on the bowl hours, actually within an hour later, I still had a fondness.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm
Taste
so
it
glad my
coming
cake
out.
made
Yeah.
me that sick. Oh, Jesus.
There was brown on the cake, and there was brown from the cake.
Round going down. Hey.
I didn't make a defective
We knew what it
cake,
was.
did I?
No, it would have been a defective cake had we not pooped it out. So I think it's a good cake.
It's just a block of cheddar cheese. It just totally rams you up. Oh, that's the first time I've ever said rams you up in my life.
I don't think I've ever enjoyed hearing that word out of any other person's mouth. as
Oh
much
my
as
God.
this.
Oh, this is disgusting. Anyway, guys, we watched a wonderfully wholesome film, and now we're talking about shitting cheddar cheese.
Well, just to clarify.
Naturally.
It's just specifically not.
shitting cheese.
But
So let's quickly kind of build what this movie's about.
Yeah.
This is about Alex Fletcher. He's a washed up 80s has-been pop singer. He was in a duo called Pop, spelled capital P,
called what?
lowercase p, uppercase P, exclamation point was the name of the 80s pop band. And they had this successful song called
Pop
Pop
goes my
goes
heart.
Pop Goes My Heart. And boy, oh boy, I mean, we'll get
I
into
said
it.
I never fall in love again, but then
Pop goes my heart. Pop goes my heart. So we're already singing, guys. Okay, so quickly building this movie. Basically the plot is that there's this like new big like super famous rising star named Cora Corman. She's a big pop star, and she has a fondness for like retro pop music, and so
also Eastern religion. But
yes,
that's
we'll get into it.
We will get into
We'll get into
baby.
it.
Who doesn't?
Hold on. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
So Aisha,
We were talking about
Bears.
the
Aisha.
easiest
no.
way to kill her would clearly be a blade.
Let's list blades.
Big,
Anyway.
small.
Medium.
Those ones that are a little bit rigid at the edge.
And
That's
that's it.
it's like we don't know what kind of blades there are, but there are people that will
There
know.
are people who know
Yeah,
blades.
there are.
And
Okay.
those are the
Blade
ASMR people.
Anyway,
Stop.
Blades.
look, guys, let me finish. Let me start rather. Cora
And welcome to
Corman.
the Meet Cute. Okay, go on.
Cora Corman has like a few like retro artists, I'm saying that in quotes, who she wants to do a duet with. She wants a new song, and she's kind of presenting this as like, I need a new song by Friday. We'll play it at Madison Square Garden together. It'll be a duet, and it'll be called A Way Back Into Love, because she read this like book that helped her get over her breakup called A Way Back Into Love. Very silly setup, but I liked it.
Oh,
Anyway,
who is? Could you tell me, relaying this information to Alex Fletcher, as opposed to Cora? Who else is talking to her?
Mr. Shu.
Mr. Shu, great.
Mr.
yeah.
Shu from Glee is like
Great,
her
yeah,
manager,
yeah.
but it's her and Mr. Shu,
A fun cameo.
A little
Yeah.
MM action.
And a little-
Yeah.
or rather his like a small role before he
Right, I
had a
guess,
life-changing
yeah,
role
exactly.
rather. And Hugh Grant is like up for this, and he was always the music writer in his band, and is no longer with his lyricist, who was the other half of Pop. So has a meeting with some like edgy like lyricist, and like funny role, whatever, some edgy lyricist. They're having a meeting, and it's not going super well.
Who
But
had written for Avril.
Avril,
Yeah,
yes. Pretty-
Let's point out real quick. Brad Garrett plays.
the edgy lyricist.
No,
Who is
Brad
that?
Garrett.
Brad Garrett plays
of Everyone
Alex's
Loves Raymond.
manager, yeah.
Oh,
Right,
yes,
yeah.
yes, plays Hugh Grant's manager. Which,
And
to be
best
clear,
friend?
Hughes like the level of Alex Fletcher's fame is that he plays like county fairs and like
Busch Gardens.
Yeah, and like throwback nights at
And
things.
he's fine with it.
And he's fine
on the
with
surface.
it. He's,
Yeah.
on the surface, he's living his life. So while he's meeting with the edgy lyricist, Drew Barrymore, who plays Sophie Fisher, is temporarily watering his plants for the week. And she's kind of like listening in and like accidentally throws in some lyrics that are actually like pretty good. So he ends up writing with her. And they have this week-long friendship, which turns romance, where they're writing a song together. And Cora Corman picks it. And they...
Spoiler.
Spoiler.
Oh gosh.
Yes, they choose the song. They book a big song together. But then she puts her own spin on it, which is too sexy and not about what the heart of the song. So there's some debacle. They have a little fight, Drew Barrymore and Hugh Grant. And there's what do you call that? Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, blah, blah, blah.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
it is.
much it. And then he decides that she's right. He wins her back by at the Madison Square Garden performance. He writes a song for Drew Barrymore that's like pretty corny lyrics but beautiful. And then they sing the real song that they wrote together. And
Drew Barrymore, they bring her up on stage?
no. Oh my God,
No.
Edward
I,
watched the whole movie, but then fell asleep at the very end. So
Yeah.
it's they get into their fight. They're not going to work together
No,
anymore.
I know that.
Yes,
I was
I'm
at
updating
Madison
you.
Square Garden.
You were at Madison Square Garden.
And he came out on stage and he started singing. And then the clearly lesbian sister was like, I get that lyric. And then I don't remember anything else.
So then it was just she runs backstage and they kiss, and then he goes out and sings the real non-changed, non-sexified Way Back Into
Great.
Love, and this movie ends.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it pans out on a sheet music that says music and lyrics by Sophie Fisher and Alex Fletcher.
And now there's footage
very
in the
cute.
credits, but it's not a blooper reel.
Okay.
It's not deleted scenes. It's just footage of them together.
Writing.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. I stopped it like
And
right when it
it's
ended.
really cool footage because they have this like green screen-esque moment where there's like 10 of them. So the camera is like panning around the apartment,
Yeah.
but like they're writing, and then as it pans, like another one of them shows
Oh,
up.
it's just them all over the house
It's like,
writing.
it's like endless, and they're in the space.
Yeah.
They're like creating.
So
Okay.
so that's the
I can dig
movie, but we're gonna go back in and like break it down, getting my notes out, music and lyrics, boom, boom, boom.
So I think this will be before we. I don't know. Let me start that sentence over with words.
Sure.
Let's start talking about what didn't work in this movie.
I don't have anything that didn't
That's why I
work.
wanted to start with that, because I know
Right.
that it's going to be.
Let's let the men talk.
Yeah. All right, boys.
It's a bad
She wasn't naked enough.
but he was.
Actually, I was going to say the contrary. I
Did
think
we see
he
his
should've-
butt? We saw his butt, right?
We didn't see
No.
his butt. We saw his upper half upon them falling asleep together.
That's right.
After their
Okay.
night tryst underneath the piano.
You know what? Before I watched this movie, I watched
A whole bunch of porn.
No, while I was eating dinner, I watched part of The 40-Year-Old Virgin, and I'm conflating Paul Rudd's butt with
Hugh Grant's butt.
I was like, oh, I saw somebody's
Eerily
butt
similar
last night.
butts,
Eerily
yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen them both.
They're
up
both
close.
English.
Yeah.
English butts.
Yeah, Paul Rudd is English.
Paul Rudd
I
is
said
No,
his butt.
just his butt. Yeah.
Oh, he is an English
It was,
butt.
it was a
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
his butt is British. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's real.
right.
Everyone
Very
knows
pasty.
that. I honestly, rewatching it, I was like trying to be critical, not just enjoy it, but I just enjoyed it. Like I just had a fun time, and I thought they were great.
I'm
and
in a similar
I don't have
boat.
anything. Yeah, I just enjoyed myself.
It's not a bad movie. I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I guess you have to accept that the plot makes the plot would
Zero sense.
The plot would never ever happen ever.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But I don't mind that, and I
don't mind
think
it
because
either,
I think the way they wrote Cora Corman, first off, I think the songs they had her sing and her act, I thought was just like perfect comedy, and that was like the songs were catchy.
Shanti Shanti, baby.
Oh, Shanti, Shanti. Like, songs were very catchy and silly to the point where it's like, oh, they're clearly making fun of pop stars and like making a funny pop star. I'm putting that in quotes. But it was still like, I believe she would have existed in world.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. I mean,
So I totally believe that she would be
But
like,
the
I
whole
want a song by
conceit is
Friday.
the whole
just
conceit,
like-
and just like, hi, oh gosh, it's the first 5 minutes of the movie. I'm here to do your plants. Oh, okay. Oh man, I don't know. That there was no meet cute, and then all of a sudden, second time she showed up, it was I don't know. It was
Oh, I
weird.
thought it was perfect.
She sucks at plants. She's
so bad at plants.
Yes, and it becomes a lyric later.
But I know, but it's to the point
And
where
what a
I'm
lyric.
like,
Love it.
I'm like, is it your dexterity? It's why are you so bad at these plants?
It even, I don't know, it even plot-wise feels like an afterthought. Like they started writing the movie halfway through, and they were like, oh, they gotta meet somehow. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, these people
Bigger
haven't
water
met
plants.
yet.
What if he has someone else do the plants, but then they're not there, and then so we don't have to hire anyone else, and then Drew Barrymore does it.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you're right. I feel like they didn't know how to make her meet because I think her job was that she ran her family's like weight loss clinic.
Right.
The lesbian sisters.
The lesbian
Who
sister.
was not, to be clear, if you didn't watch the film, is not a lesbian. In fact, she's in love with Alex
In
Fletcher.
fact, it's Kirstie Alley.
Yeah.
So theoretically,
So
no, I'm just kidding. Kirstie, one day if you ever hear this, we love you so much.
you.
We're not going to assume anything
no,
about
but
you.
we welcome you in whichever.
Right now it's Pride. I mean, it
flavor
is
the-
our month.
Yeah.
Wait,
so
was the
man.
Kirstie? Is that a joke? That's Kirstie Alley?
No, isn't it Kirstie Alley?
No, it's Christine Johnson.
It's Kristen Johnson.
So who's right? It's Kristen Johnson.
It's Kristen Johnson. I have the Wikipedia in front of me.
You wanna know
Oh
what-
my gosh, you're right. I messed up.
You guys want to know something fucked up?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you. Christy Alley had a show on TV Land a few years ago called Christy. And she was the lead. And you want to know what her character's name was?
Was it not Kristen?
Danielle.
Why?
Why? The show's called Christy. In what world would you not have her character be named Christy?
I feel like this happened with another show too, but I can't tell
It
you
sounds
what it
familiar.
is.
Yeah. I learned that and I went to church that night. It was insane.
We need to pray. We need
Yeah.
to pray.
So guys, we need to get into this. We need to start. I'm just going to start with my notes, and I think we should just go
That's
into
fine.
this.
I didn't
All
take
right.
notes.
All right.
I did.
I only have
I
one
usually
note
do.
written down.
So we all remembered Pop Goes My Heart. I also think this is a hysterical, it sounded like a real 80s pop song. The
And the
music
video,
so
the video
funny.
was great.
My favorite part of the video is when he goes into like cardiac arrest and you see the heart like permeating out of his chest with like this light that's like reflecting out of his white gown. Oh, it's genius. It's genius.
So funny. I don't like knowing that Hugh Grant might be difficult to work with because he is so charming in this
I
movie.
know.
Speak to
He
that.
is charming.
Okay.
What's your sources?
Yeah. No, I looked him up. I looked him up because I looked up the ending a bit of the movie earlier without watching it, and a lot of his Wikipedia page, he has a whole section about personality. Most people don't.
Yeah.
And he is a lot more actors than not. Say he is very difficult to work with.
Any specifics about what is difficult?
He's too English.
He's standoffish. He's a stickler. I think he keeps doing scenes until he feels that they're right, which is not always a terrible thing. But he's just generally not nice. He himself said that he and Drew Barrymore did not get along at all.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't have known.
I would never have guessed that.
And he followed up by saying maybe that's why their chemistry was so good in the movie, because I forgot what the quote was, but like,
Wow.
fire makes a crackle or something stupid like that.
Something British.
Yeah.
Something brash.
Something British.
Yeah, that surprised me because he looks so nice, and in all of his
hasn't-
movies, he's so like affable.
He hasn't really worked in a long time.
Yeah.
Right? Was he in Paddington too, or was that Colin Firth?
feel like that was
that's
Colin.
Colin
Weren't they
Firth,
both
but
in
I
it?
kind of like to group them in the
Right.
same.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
That
thinking,
being
yeah.
said, Hugh Grant's rom-com career far greater and more noteworthy.
Like in many ways, Colin Firth was in the movies, but in other ways, Hugh Grant was in it. You know? It's just like one of those things.
It's like a giant filmography.
So Drew Barrymore is so delightfully Drew Barrymore in this
She's
movie,
such
whereas
Drew
she just
Barrymore.
like walks in and is like stumbling like with like, oh, my plans, I'm a hypochondriac, I got pricked, I gotta go. And then Hugh Grant's just like, well, she was weird.
That was weird too. That was a weird
thought it
thing.
was
He never
funny.
came back.
And her best line in that moment is, "Do you have any antibiotic cream?"
Yeah.
Oh, come on,
But,
Drew.
I love a Drew
2007
Barrymore.
Drew, you're not carrying around your own Neosporin.
But like his
Come
character
on.
should have said something snappy, like I could put some gin in a condom.
I'm sorry. You thought that was his character trait?
yeah.
That he would have said that?
And then Brad
So
Garrett's
why am I
like,
getting so-
Alex.
Come on, Alex.
Come on, Alex.
if I had you in a condom, I wouldn't be divorced.
All right, wait,
is not the movie.
quick tangent about Brad Garrett. So my father, who I think some of you have met,
yes, I've quickly met your father.
Awfully like Brad Garrett.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
And when I was younger, we all went out to Friendly's once. And it was like me and like a friend from second grade and my dad. And this waiter comes up and is like, hey, you're that guy. And my dad's like, yeah, for sure. Yeah. He's like, no, you're that guy. You come on. I'm blanking on the name. You're that guy. And my friend and I are like, this is my dad. And my dad,
you're Tucker's dad.
Yeah. As the waiter walks away, my dad goes, they must think I'm Brad Garrett. It's gotta be it. And so the waiter, after this whole meal, constantly bringing us the fribbles and the fries, being like, "You're that guy," the whole time. She goes, "Can I just get an autograph?" Like as we're paying the bill, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll put it on the receipt." And my dad signs it, like, "Dear Melissa," whatever her name is. "Thank you for the fribble from, with love, that guy." But I'm convinced it was Brad Garrett because I have this like weird image thing with him, and the whole film I'm watching and thinking,
but daddy,
God, like how lucky is he to have a manager like my dad?
Exactly.
It's so lucky. And I work with my dad, who's basically what I refer to as my dadager. So this film felt eerily at home for me, guys. It was an experience.
Moving on, Cora Corman. I'm sorry, I keep it moving. That's my job.
Keep it. I get it.
I mean, if she didn't, we would just be like, anyone ever get a scab one time that like you wake up and it's gone?
Oh, I got the. Oh yeah. Oh man, I have notes written down.
Guys, we must move on.
And that's pretty much how it goes.
So there's this. Oh my God, there's this opening scene with Cora Corman. It's her shooting her music video for the new song Buddha's Delight, and boy, oh boy, I think it's so funny because I think it's so funny that this character is clearly like, yes, I went to India once, and now I'm all about Buddhism, and it's like,
and
but
I
it's
like how
sexy
she like
Buddhism.
So real.
She like, there's a better term for it, I guess, like bows to everyone she meets.
Yeah,
like, puts her hands together.
yeah.
Namaste. Yeah. Oh,
to
shanti,
everyone,
shanti.
and even they don't even always make a big deal out of it. She does it like subtly a lot of the times. I think that's really funny to keep going.
Played by Haley Bennett. Is she in anything else? Because I only know her from this, and I think she's so funny in this movie.
She is, but I forgot.
When I saw it in the credits, I thought Haley Baldwin, but that can't be.
No, Haley Bennett.
Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah, it was Haley Joel Osment, and a truly method role for him.
He's actually
Hold on. Let's rewind for a moment. What if Haley Joel Osment was Cora?
That's
but him now.
Blade. Medium blade. Medium blade.
She comes out with two blade blockers.
It's gonna be blade blockers.
So I love Cora Corman. I think I've got to have my Buddha's delight is so funny.
I thought she was saying something about smacking her butt, though. Wasn't that a lyric in there?
Maybe I don't think
tonight.
so.
Okay.
I thought it was booties. Yeah.
No, I've got to have my Buddha's delight.
Which what does that mean?
I guess Edward and I were projecting.
Look, okay.
I'm not satisfied if I don't get my Buddha's delight. Yeah.
But I thought she was saying, "Get my booty slapped."
She was shaking her booty a lot. So
Yes, a
maybe
lot.
we were just.
Also, great moment in the Madison Square Garden part for her where Christy, whatever her face, his husband was watching, and she was like, "Honey, don't watch." He's like, and he was like, "I'm just watching."
Yeah.
I'm just watching her shake her butt
Can I just watch a talented woman shake that tush?
from this third row seat that I got because my sister-in-law is writing with Alex Fletcher.
I also love that there was a song, another one of her hit songs called Entering Booty Town. So funny.
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking about.
Maybe. And yeah, it was called Entering Booty Town. So funny. I don't know. I just thought they did it, this like mock pop star, like so funny because it wasn't it wasn't too unrealistic, but it was just the right amount of like stupid.
And the way they described her character in the first like 10 minutes before we met her as like the cross between Brittany and Christina felt eerily accurate for Haley.
Yes, it did.
She really embodied both of them very well.
So then we start this like writing relationship between Drew Barrymore and Alex Fletcher. And I wrote down that Love Autopsy sucks, but for the movie it rules. Like, because there's a scene where he was like, I need you. She's like, I don't write songs. And he's like, no, I need you. She's like, I don't write songs. And he's like, I once rhymed you and me with autopsy. And she's like, that's not necessarily bad. Like, she was like, you and me is like I love Autopsy. And he's like, see? And they like, he writes like a fake song that she does the lyrics to like real quick to prove that like you already wrote a song, see? And it was corny. It was bad, but like, I don't know. I thought like for the context of the movie, I think they do the quote unquote like songwriting fairly well, you know, to show like, oh, she knows what she's doing, you know?
But here's what's so interesting about it is even after 6 days, for her to have gotten so bent out of shape when she felt that the song wasn't being delivered the way it was, she was like, now I'm a songwriter.
Yeah. And she
I need to know.
Right.
I know these things.
And she argued with the guy who'd been songwriting since the 80s. She was like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Me, a 6-day-old songwriter.
Yeah.
A 6-year-old girl.
Also a
I mean,
Which was that was like a big part of her character is like as soon as the song like wasn't the heartfelt thing they wrote together because Cora wanted it steamy and sticky. So funny. So funny.
And loved the way that he like regurgitated that back to her, and she was like, "What do you think?" And she was like, "It's steamy, it's sticky. It is both the things you said it was.
Steamy and sticky." So funny.
I like when she plays it back, like the DJ's being like, Alex Fletcher, Cora Corman, way back into love.
It's the indie. It's like
We about to do it.
It's like the Indian.
Shanty.
Oh, way back into love. It's like, oh my god. It was like mortifying to watch, but I don't know.
Well, and that kind of comedy would never fly right now.
no, it never would. But it works.
But it works.
I think the reason it's not too cringy is because it is a white girl who's clearly appropriating this wrong. And even Drew Barrymore says that. She's like, you're appropriating like 6 different cultures like in it. So I actually do think it holds up in a way that's...
It was a very progressive movie for its time.
in fact, I think this was a hugely progressive film and it was life-changing.
One thing I like to talk about, and maybe it's interesting that you mentioned they didn't like each other, and maybe that's why the chemistry was so good, because I kind of felt like of all the rom-coms we watch, a lot of times you watch them and it'll be like, like all of a sudden out of nowhere they'll be like, oh, they're in love now.
Right.
This felt really organic. Like it felt like the pacing really worked for me personally, where I was like, oh, I actually see them to start budding the romance. Maybe it's because
they had a great tit for tat in their working relationship.
But it never felt like contrived. Like it always felt like, oh yeah, this is just who he is and this is who she is.
And that's also such a testament to them being such good actors.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are great on screen, and the way that they shot both of them, like realizing that they were falling for each other, was so masterful in this movie.
It did. They weren't shoving it down our throats. It felt like it felt sincere.
Real.
And maybe it's the time, like maybe it's the fact that it took place in like about like 6 days or a week or so.
Yeah.
And they were together the entire time.
Yeah, they truly were with each other like all
like
36
we didn't see
hours.
it almost felt like obviously it
72
wasn't
hours.
real time, but like it kind of felt like as if it worked in real time a little.
Yeah. Oh, you know what scene I loved when they made the little demo in his studio and then ran it to where Cora's like helicopter is landing, and she like was handed the CD and listened to it in front of them. I thought the silence was so funny. She had like headphones on and was listening to the demo CD with her eyes closed while Sophie and Alex just watched her listen to it.
And then Alex was like talking over it, which, you know, was for me one of the most unrealistic portions of this film, that like a songwriter would be talking over his own fucking song. Come on.
Like, oh yeah, okay, right now, okay,
Like,
okay,
right now,
This is
okay,
two of them just like,
we're
okay,
gonna do it.
okay.
This weather is crazy out here. I can't believe the helicopter.
But I thought that scene was just very funny.
Very funny scene where they keep singing like different versions of the song to his Alex Fletcher's doorman.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
There's a clown in my bed instead of a cloud in my bed.
A cloud hanging
She's like,
over
why would
my
you have a
bed?"
clown in your bed? He says, it wouldn't be the first time. And I remember that from the trailer back in the day, and it made me laugh then at 14 years old, and it made me laugh now at 2 years old.
Oh, we got
how you've aged.
We got to talk about the Sally Michaels thing, because that was was bigger than the conflict of her not liking her rendition of the song, because in a way she kind of was okay with that in the end. They wanted the third verse, and she just accepted it and like sent a third verse without.
Which, by the way, was a lyrically amazing verse.
Yeah, it was
really great.
I
So
honestly
she felt something.
She felt inspired, and that was a big thing. He just wanted her to write, and she had to be inspired.
Well, that's a whole thing we should unpack too. But let's get into Sally.
We'll get there. Sally Michaels, Drew Barrymore has this other like kind of side conflict where her ex ex is like a professor of
At the new school where I went to school.
Ooh,
Oh, so
okay.
are you Sally
You're
Michaels?
Sally Michaels.
Oh, guys, I was planning on bringing this up.
Son of a bitch.
It's weird because, while I was at New School, there were certainly a lot of like pretentious professors who thought they were hot shit, but I never had that experience.
Oh, good.
But Brad Garrett, New School, songwriter. I'm telling you, this movie did some things for me.
Wow.
Scared you.
I was frightened.
Pretty
but
spooky.
that professor was a douche.
Yeah, so she had a professor who she like took to right away, and they
had an affair with.
they had an affair, but she didn't know that he was engaged, and that came out. The wife found out, and he obviously she ended it when she found out that he was engaged, had a wife, I don't remember. And then he wrote a novel about a seductress student who like ruined his life named Sally Michaels, and she had the exact same life as Drew Barrymore, so she was
for
haunted
him, it
by
became a
him.
bestseller.
Yes,
which
and he
was,
became
like,
a
the
bestseller
real
and was going to make
Yeah.
a movie. So she's, I don't know, has this conflict because of this fake version of her out there.
Yeah.
And at one point Hugh Grant calls her like Sally Michaels, and that's what the big fight is. Because what she's like, he says like, you're hiding behind it or something. I don't
Right.
know.
That, and also
It was a good argument.
Yeah, Sally Michaels was like a social climber.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she could only write. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember
Yeah.
quite.
But it was a good argument.
It was a good argument, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. It was a
It's
good argument.
Well done. And I like that she got personal comeuppance, but she didn't end up getting the final, like, anything against him, the professor. Drew Barrymore, you know what I mean?
Oh, I wasn't talking about that argument. I was talking about Hugh Grant and
But also,
Drew
yes.
Barrymore's
Oh,
argument.
yeah, yeah.
But yes, there
I
was a
misunderstood.
scene where they ran into each other, where
Right.
Hugh Grant was out with Drew Barrymore and Tucker's dad and his girlfriend and
Tucker's mom.
yeah,
Mom, yeah.
and Tucker's mother.
Oh, and that therapist, the Brad Garrett's girlfriend was a therapist, and
Right.
they exchanged clothes.
Yeah, because
Not Brad Garrett and her.
No,
Drew
no,
Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore was
There was
out
that
and
scene.
about.
You didn't see the scene where Brad Garrett was wearing a
You
dress?
entered the past.
No, and then there was that iconic line from the
Right.
girlfriend where after she lends Drew Barrymore her outfit,
Right,
Yes.
that's what
she
I
was
was
like,
gonna...
I've been
11
a
years
therapist
of
for 11
therapist,
years.
and I finally helped somebody.
yeah. So there's a scene where Drew Barrymore, they're all out together, and the author character is there, and coincidentally
Right.
in the same restaurant, and she is like ready to give a speech she prepared, like a clapback, and she looks like shit because she was writing for 3 days.
As he mentions, haggard.
Yeah, haggard. Yes.
Yes.
So she switches.
That was improvised. He was
Yes.
supposed to say you look nice, but they hate each other. So.
So they switch dresses with the therapist. She looks all hot, and then she chokes up and can't say anything to him. But yeah.
But I like how there was never a scene later on where she actually got to say whatever. Like,
No, because she doesn't
Sure, yeah.
need to.
that's how life is. She got her own
Right.
But
personal.
she did get her retribution because in the credits, they have all those little things popping up over the pop music video. And one of the little things
I
they
remember that
mention
now.
is that like he had that film come out and they had a review from Rolling Stone that was like, it's the worst film start to back. I couldn't watch
I
it
didn't
forward
even
or
notice
backwards.
that.
And that was the best review they got. That was
Oh,
like,
nice. Oh, yeah.
the kicker.
I didn't see that this
good.
watch, but I do remember, yes, in the end credits, they have like those like VH1 like pop-up videos.
Yeah.
And that's fun way to say it's like,
Yeah.
there they are. And that's cute.
I didn't take notes, but they were mental notes.
That's a good
Yeah,
mental
exactly.
note.
I think it's that I didn't really fully watch the credits. So
Me
yeah,
neither. I
guess
stopped because I was on a bus. I watched
I'm
it
bummed.
on a bus.
That's a fun thing. I'm bummed I missed that.
Well, obviously it wasn't essential to the plot. But,
I mean-
guys, I wrote a lyric down from Entering Booty Town because I thought it was so fucking funny. The lyric is, "'Cause your booty is the way into his heart."
I mean,
it's the way into a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love the elaborate stage setup for Cora where it was like a giant Buddha statue and it turns and she's inside it and like no clothes.
pretty
And
cool.
arguably, do you know where she was inside of it? Inside the
In the
Buddha's butt.
Oh, wow,
booty.
you're so right.
any other thoughts on anything? Any other glaring things?
Yes.
Of things
Yes.
that we liked or didn't like.
Both.
Either.
Okay.
Okay. My favorite thing of the movie was that on Alex Fletcher's couch, there was a giant wooden statue of a mermaid that was stretched out.
Not see it.
It was stretched out across half the couch, and this was the entire movie. And
Edward catching the details.
And so when they sat on the couch, they could only sit on one of the three cushions because there was a wooden mermaid splayed across the rest of it.
We go back and there was not a woman mermaid.
He's also conflating it with the Paul Rudd film.
What the hell are you talking about?
Paul Rudd's ass, that giant mermaid statue.
What movie did I watch? It's on Netflix, right?
I think this is one of my favorite romantic gestures to win back a girl in a rom-com.
I mean,
when he wrote that song.
Yeah, because he's not a songwriter, and he wrote a song, and the lyrics were like clunky and funny. I think this too is just the right amount of like okay, clearly he's not a songwriter, so the lyrics are clunky, but it was sweet. It was a sweet attempt.
But she has this whole speech like 20 minutes before this moment where she's like,
"Oh yeah,
you know, there's dinner and then there's dessert. And you know we need to write dinner."
Yeah,
and as you mentioned, the lyrics in that song were clunky,
sweet,
and afterwards she meets him backstage and it's like, "That was dinner. That song was like a full course meal," and it was like. Girl, no, it ain't.
Oh, okay.
You know what? It
Calm
was
down.
for her.
You're dumb.
It spoke to her. It was very sweet. But the song was called "Don't Write Me Off Just Yet," which perfect. Come on, because the writing.
I liked about her though. I liked the line when she says that like the melody is like sex.
Yeah.
And the lyrics is like when you like get to know a person.
Right.
Yeah.
So true.
That was
accurate.
a really good analogy.
As a songwriter too, I was like, yes, bitch. Ooh, I don't know. I loved this movie. I love this movie. It was fun. I like Hugh Grant's that he kept trying to do his sexy 80s dance.
Yeah.
Like every time music played.
I don't think he tried. I think he did it.
He fully went into it.
I think he went for it.
He did it well.
I was surprised that we never got. I was expecting his like co-person from the band
to show up
in some form and like whatever. I was expecting him to be a character.
That he didn't
never
show.
Was, and I was fine with that. I didn't miss it, but that's when they were introducing in the beginning. I was like, oh, well, they're giving him a proper intro. He's going to be in this movie.
He's an actor with lines and stuff.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
Oh, I like
Not
the part
anymore.
too in the Madison Square Garden performance for "A Way Back Into Love" when she's like, the thing is, she throws the fit earlier in the film because she's like, I want to dance. My fans want to see me dance. I just want to be sexy and dance. And
Just
so
Shakira's breathing down my neck.
Yes, funny. But they don't do the sexy version of the song for the performance, so it's just like a piano ballad, and she still manages to find a way to like do a sexy like
and
hip
so does
shake,
he.
and so does he.
Yes.
He does his like 80s boy band move. That was funny. And that's music and lyrics, and I thought it was just delightful. And I wrote vest and skinny scarf equals yes. That was a Drew Barrymore style note that she was wearing. It was very of the mid 2000s.
We're all catching different details today.
Yeah, I always catch a fashion.
I'm catching none. Apparently, I just saw like colored smudges on the screen.
I think you see that sometimes.
I do have a quick anecdote about this film. Where we go.
Do tell.
So I was doing this pitch for a Korean pop duo.
Okay.
Like a few months ago, and my manager called me to do it, and he was like, "They're looking for something that sounds like this," and it was A Way Back Into Love.
Oh my god!
And I listened to it, and I sort of digested it, and I was like, "Wow, this song is like." It's really good. I was like, this song is really good. So we like model our own version and we pitch it, and like, you know, we're still in the trenches of hearing it. And that's a testament. This is maybe like 4 months about how incorrect this movie was about the way song pitches go. We're still waiting to figure out if we got this cut.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
She needed that song by Friday to perform at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Her latest recorded single that they were going to cut and record and mix and master
and add to the album.
Day.
Yeah.
Add to the album.
As if the track listing hadn't already been out.
And don't get me wrong, you know, like Ariana Grande can put out Sweetener and Thank You Next in a span of 6 months. But,
Right.
You know, Cora is not, you know, come on.
I think the actual like industry, no, this would not happen. But I think because of the character who presented it, I think it was okay. It was like, sure, why not? This bitch.
No, and I mean the conceit isn't realistic, but you still want them to win.
Sure. Yes,
which is what's so great about it.
It's like when someone, I read this a while ago, it talks about like when you see like a train heist in a movie or anything like that, they give you just enough information so you know when something's going wrong and something's going right for the characters, but you don't need all the logistics of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to know how this part of the train works and blah blah blah.
Right.
And same thing here. Like you don't need to know like, you know, if they were direct deposit or got a check. You just need to know like that
It was direct deposit.
Right.
That was at the end of the credits. I was able to see
Let's
that.
be very clear.
She was
We'll
like,
always be a
what's
double
my
take.
routing number?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. They just said enough that I bought it, and like I'm sure you then
No, I mean it's
real,
like
but
you still want to care,
It
but
was-
like I'm sitting there going like, okay, I had to base my song off this song,
and I still don't
and
know.
come on, like
It was
kidding me.
a bit top heavy.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
my question is, why isn't the song everyone's looking for not "Pop Goes Your Heart"?
Right.
Oh my gosh, what a fantastic song!
It is. It's
really
such
is.
a well written 80s. I want to know who did the writing on this.
It's giving me Wham. It's giving
Yeah,
me. I mean,
totally.
it's,
a little bit of like,
yummy.
and a little bit of like Jellyfish, like in like
Yeah.
the early 90s. It's just,
so fun.
it was great.
Oh shoot, what was I going to say? Oh, and I think the actual like songwriting process being like two people in a room just trying to figure out lyrics. I thought that was like actually pretty realistic too. Where it was like they would get a line and feel really successful and then go, well, let's go for a walk.
and that's what I did. We said we would table and come back to the whole concept of inspiration
Yeah.
in this film. Really felt true to
Yeah.
the process
Yeah.
of songwriting.
Yeah.
And that's what was so shocking when he was like, you don't need to be inspired, you just need to do the work.
Yeah.
And no song ever came out as a great song because you were just doing the work.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So that was an interesting component of this whole film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think creativity in general, it's always like a game of runs, kind of like you'll get into a groove and you'll fucking nail it, and then forever you'll be like, "This I can't
Well,
do
this
anything.
is
it.
I've never
Why am I
in my
doing
career,
this?"
like I'm never writing another thing again."
Yeah.
So good for them for showing that.
Do you want to rate this now and then take a break and come back with the last segment?
Real quick, yeah. Have you guys heard about Euphoria, the Zendaya?
Oh my
show
God.
on
I want to
HBO?
see it. I hear there
30 dogs.
30 penises.
I have not
wangs.
seen it. I have a friend that did some like
Is it out yet?
Some penis
additional
work.
voice. I
He
mean,
was every
yes,
penis.
and I have a friend that today I saw on Instagram was doing like additional sound recording gang vocal stuff
Oh,
for it in
interesting.
LA today. But that's the only thing I know about it. I know nothing else.
It was
Premieres
just
Sunday.
a voiceover for all of the
It
penises.
looks good.
I
It
think
looks-
I think the first reviews came out today, and they became very controversial because it's supposed to be like a gritty look at modern teenage
Yeah, yeah,
life.
yeah.
Our cat is screaming.
Yeah.
Go on.
That it? I've seen it. I got a press screener.
Euphoria is crazy.
But apparently it's like there's like so much like sex
and
like
female nudity as well. I
and like
believe.
and like drug use and stuff. But and they also talk about how there's you're going to see like erect penises, and there's apparently a scene that
I don't know
has-
why I thought you meant erect penis.
Just fuck
That is
That's
strong.
just the worst penis you've ever seen.
Rex is
Tucker's friend.
a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Really, it's very, very straightforward.
But apparently there's a
Very-
scene that takes place
very
in a
hard to-
locker room with like 30 teenage boys all showing the penises, which I was in a locker room every other day throughout high school, and you made an active effort not to show your penis to me.
Famously,
Yeah.
I told you I wore 2 pair of underwear, so they would not see my penis.
Oh, Edward.
Yeah.
It was
Edward.
never nude.
You were a never nude in high school.
Never knew.
So I'm like, if you're trying to show a gritty, realistic look at high school, teenage boys do not want to show off their
no.
penises or see another one. To a point.
To a point.
Didn't you have I'm sorry, I'm bringing this up. Oh no, I'm not going to say names. Didn't you have a friend who in the dark whipped out his penis and put it on his friend's shoulder?
It was so funny. it was our friend's knee. He put it on his knee.
Oh.
What a strange placement.
He just what happened was he just started chuckling, and then he walked over, like did something to the friend, and walked away laughing. And our friend goes, "You just put your penis on me?" And he's like, "No." He goes, "No, it was my elbow. It was my elbow." He goes, "Put your elbow on me." And so he puts his elbow on him, and there's a second of silence, and my friend goes, "That was not your elbow." And it was
It was his
not
penis.
to, it was so ought to be young.
Oh, to be young. Anyway, let's rate this. I feel like it'll be a quick rating. So we're going to rate this out of 5 for each category, but we decide 5 whats. Something in the film that stood out that you want to rate it out of. You
I
want to
think
award it.
we're going to rate it on a scale of Cora's butt.
Yeah. Just Cora's
All right.
tiny little butt.
So just to be clear, we're doing single like 1 to 5 Cora's butt, not butts.
Correct.
Or are we doing like cheeks? Like what's the?
Yeah. How many
Oh.
cheeks does she have by the end
5
of
butt
this?
cheeks. Are we rating this out of butt cheeks?
Hey,
Booty
you
butt cheeks.
nasty freaks.
I'm just watching her dance. I'm just watching.
All 5 butt cheeks.
All right, so you heard it here first. We are rating this out of Cora's butt cheeks.
So our first category is chemistry. This is the chemistry between the two characters. Tucker, you're our guest, so we'll start with you.
one of 5 being the best, 1 being the 0 being the worst.
Can we do like 4.5?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, if you so choose.
Yeah,
4.5
I mean it
cheeks.
was pretty. The chem was real.
The chem was real.
The chem
I'm
was
gonna
real.
go straight 5 only because there was not a single scene where I was like, no. So give me a 5. Why not?
Doing a 5 too, and this is not the first 5 we've had in the podcast, but they are rare, and I think it's worth doing because it shows you like sometimes you can totally knock it out of the park. And
Yeah.
if they had done anything else, like made it any better, it would have been extra credit, but it was everything we needed.
Yeah. Eddie?
A 4. I mean, it
4,
was
great.
It was
That's
good.
still good.
I would really actually like to rewatch it just to see that, like, see if I can pinpoint the hate like in their eyes as they're talking to each
I
other.
can't even, like, going back, I can't even think because they were so good. And
I know.
he's so snarky and so funny. All
I
of
know.
his
That's
side
why I want to rewatch
comments
it
are
just
so
to
funny.
be like, you are mean.
that breaks my heart because he's
It's
so
weird.
charming.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway, moving
4.
on.
The next category is
Best friends.
the best friends.
So this
Brad
is
Garrett.
in this movie that would be Rhonda the sister and Brad Garrett, Tucker's father.
Please, Daddy. You have a dad in this movie, and I have a dad in this
Yeah.
movie. Are we talking about the amount of friendship they give, or like what's the?
did they
How are
play
they as
their
characters?
roles
how are they
well?
as
Yeah.
characters?
like the role of a rom-com best friend.
Yeah.
Like,
This is going to be a controversial opinion,
Oh yeah.
but I think I'm going to give them a 3.
That's
Oh,
not.
fair.
That's
Cora
right
butt
down the
cheeks.
middle. I think
I know,
agree,
but you
yeah.
but you love this film, Haley. I mean,
I don't. It's not my favorite film, but I think that's fair.
And we don't pander to each other here.
No,
we
we
speak the
don't.
truth.
Speak the
Speaking
truth.
the truth, it's 3. It's 3 butt cheeks.
3 butt cheeks. It is.
It's going to be 4 for me. I think they could have been, I don't want to say a little funnier, but there was just
No, I
I
agree.
think just maybe heightened a little bit. But overall, I think the sister was supportive in all the right ways. And it was
Yeah.
also kind of a funny, quirky character as it became a bigger character later in the film.
Yeah.
And Brad Garrett he's a charm. So 4 for me.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go 4-2. This is good. This is mounting up to pretty high rating. I think I'm gonna go 4-2 because it wasn't. They weren't hysterical. I don't think they needed to be, but they were supportive. They did their role fine. 4.
a 3. Everyone's
3,
just kind of
right down the middle. Yeah, they all did their
whatever it is.
thing.
Yeah.
Next is the romance. So this is sort of,
Different than the chemistry.
Yeah.
This is like in the script. Was it romantic? Were the gestures romantic? Yeah, different than the
5.
wow.
5
Yeah.
cheeks.
Boy.
I agree with Haley's sentiment from earlier that it is the utmost romantic gesture to write somebody
It
a
is a
song,
big thing.
and,
Yeah.
and to play it for
many
many, many people.
For
Yeah.
the first time.
Yeah.
World premiere.
Yeah.
Clink, 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 clink.
I think for this movie, the romance was just, I think it was just perfect. I think it's going to be a 5. I don't know.
I'm going to go with a 4.5.
Pretty good still.
Yeah, and you know what it is? It's just one of those things where it's like I can't think of what else could have been done, but maybe little things throughout that would have totally sent it over and had me say like, wow, that was so thought through. I think
You know
it was
what?
mostly there for me.
I'm going to do 4.5 as well because maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just because the way they fell in love was so organic, it would hard to be find another romantic scene, but
Yeah.
I'll be fair.
Give me a 4 for that reason because I feel like we're all, and not that we're wrong, but I think we're all conflating the chemistry
To the romance.
to the romance because their chemistry really was so good, and the romance was great near the end.
Yes.
but I can't
but
remember
not throughout.
not consistently.
Right.
I guess throughout there were bits. But that doesn't mean it wasn't romantic and it wasn't bad.
Right.
You guys are making me want to change my answer.
No.
Speak your truth.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
it
Round
touched
me
you
down to a
anyway.
4.5. For
Okay.
me.
Sure?
Round me
Okay.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, the comedy.
Yeah, The Calm. I laughed. Was this the funniest movie in the world? No, but it had the right tone.
Yeah.
And Hugh Grant was funny, and Haley Bennett as Cora Corman, really funny.
Very
4.
funny.
4.
I'm going the 3.5. I could have laughed more, but I didn't. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't like groaning
Yeah.
It wasn't like unfunny. It was funny.
Here's
No,
what it is.
yeah.
Besides Cora, I think Hugh Grant like was the comedy pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Drew
yeah,
Barrymore
yeah.
didn't really have any
I
funny
agree.
lines
Except for
written
talking
for.
fast and pricking your
Right,
finger.
right.
Yeah, but it's like,
Yeah.
but Hugh Grant
Which
was
we
the one
all
who
know.
had like all the laugh lines for
Right.
me. So
Yeah.
I'm
little
going to go 3.52, I think.
Yeah, 3.5 as
Word,
well.
word.
Yeah.
all right.
Be
So you
a
guys
high
talk amongst
school.
yourselves, and I'll add all of these up.
We know it takes Zach a long time to add because of
Because of the
you know.
You know the
because
thing.
of
the thing.
the because of it.
All right, we're
Yeah.
having fun.
I love the scene where he's playing at like a Playland-esque park, and this just
Hold
like,
on, let's
old
be
women.
very clear. It was Great Adventure.
It was Great Adventure.
It was okay. It was Great Adventure.
A
It
New
was for
Jersey
sure.
staple.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Great Adventure. I thought that was so funny at the small side stage.
All right, I've added up the scores.
How many butt cheeks?
We all
does
just
this
heard our
freak of
cat
nature
scream.
have?
Yeah.
Hey, how many butt cheeks?
Hold on, I think I fucked up. No, I did it right.
Okay.
This film
Mm-hmm.
gets 16.125 out of 20, or
We need to stop doing it out of 20.
No,
Just
this
do
is
it
fun
out of
now.
10.
8.1 out of 10, or
8.1 butt cheeks. That's out of
81%?
10 butt cheeks.
80.1%
80.1.
of one of Cora's butts.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Not her cheeks,
So-
but her
So
butt.
we're going with an
Eight-
8.2 basically.
8 butts. So she's
so it's,
four
so,
people.
So,
she has
so it's
four
like a
butts.
B minus? A B?
It's like an 8.1. So
That's
Like
like,
a-
a B
yeah,
plus.
that's pretty good.
yeah,
Plus,
pretty-
yeah.
yeah, B minus. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah,
all
it's
schools
like-
are different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all schooling systems are
Oh yeah.
different.
So I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
B minus.
That's why it takes some
fine,
people a
right.
longer time to add.
Honestly, in my school, if it wasn't an A, it was a F.
It would exactly, and
Whoa.
then the teacher would beat you.
Progressive.
And
my dad's rule is my dad's roof.
Oh my God. Let's take a quick break while I explain the last segment. We ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a little break. Let's take care of our screaming cat. And we're back. We're back for our last little segment. I thought this would be so fun to do some musical Mad Libs.
The guy who invented segways died on one.
Okay.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Did he? Did it?
We're talking
explode,
about
or
the
did he,
the
like,
concept of
No, no,
going
no.
from one thing to another.
No.
And then he
the
died
Segway-
I
on a
thought you were
Segway.
reading
On a
me
Segway.
for
No,
not
no,
making
no.
a segue.
This- oh, that'd be fucking sick. No, the Segway riders, those Disney World riders.
Yeah.
Paul
Right,
Blart,
right.
He died on one. Not recently, like years ago.
Wow. Huh.
Is he still on it? Is his corpse like still moving forward?
They're not that fast, but you'd be surprised.
Can you imagine? Like truly.
Oh yes.
Sorry, go on.
It's all good. So this is something I actually used to do with my friends all the time in high school, which makes me sound so lame. But guys, it's so funny. I got some funny videos out there singing musical Mad Libs. So fun. Anyway, so we're gonna do one. Shut up.
Are we gonna watch him now?
No, we're gonna watch all of my musical Mad Libs from when I was 15 on. No, I asked Tucker what song he wanted to sing, and he was like, "Why don't we just do "Way Back Into Love?" And I was like, "So fun!" So I'm gonna, just like Mad Libs, I took the lyrics and created a Mad Lib sheet out of them, and I'm gonna ask for some words, y'all. You ready for this?
Yes.
All right, give me a noun.
Can we do round robin style so y'all
Yes,
get to
yes.
choose? All right, so whoever goes first.
So Zach first.
Okay.
I won't choose because I have him in charge of the sheet. Zachary, noun.
Fart.
Wow, great. Noun.
Cow.
An ing verb.
Strolling.
Ooh.
This is so stupid already.
Real quick, while you're doing this, can Edward and I sing? We wrote a new Meet Cute theme song, and we
Yes.
wanted to get your thoughts on it, Tucker, as a songwriter.
Sure.
Can we sing it
Okay.
for you real quick?
Lay it
Haley,
on.
I know we didn't clear this with you. Is this okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, ready?
Okay. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We're having
look
a
at the cat.
good time. Welcome
here
to
at
the
the
show.
show.
Edward's verse.
I love the Meet Cute. It is a show. Zach.
Everybody knows what to do when you go to the show. Edward.
We're gonna talk, and you're gonna
Listen. We're gonna make you wet, and you're gonna
listen.
Okay, good job, guys.
You know my favorite
Well,
part about it is, guys, is when you call each other out.
Yeah, you know how partnerships go.
So we're gonna do a Way Back Into Love with our our Mad Lib version. You ready? Here we go. This is a Way Back Into Love. I've been living with a fart overhead. I've been strolling with the cow above my bed. I've been crunchy for so long.
Yeah.
Corked in the past, I just can't seem to move on.
I've been porking all my beards and dreams away,
Woo!
just in case I ever need 'em again someday. I've been setting aside time to clear a little bone in the corners of my turtle dove. All I want to do is find a way back into leggings.
Beautiful.
I can't make it through without a way back into
just
leggings.
Excellent. I've been watching, but the toilets refuse to stumble. I've been stumbling, but I just don't see the signs. I know it's out there. There's gotta be something for my Chris somewhere.
I've been wearing for someone to embrace some piss, not somebody just to get me through the night. I could use some socks, and I'm open to your suggestions. Hey, all I want to do is find a way back into candle.
Beautiful, guys.
I can't make it through without a way back into candle. And if I open my tongue again, I guess I'm hoping you'll be there for me in the end.
That's all we got, guys.
Oh, wait, there's still some lyric there. Oh. Thank you.
That was a way back into leggings or candle.
That was
Thank
great.
you.
That is available on iTunes for $2.99.
Stumble.
So yeah, that's probably the best I've ever sang.
Tucker, thank you so much for being here.
Guys, it was really a pleasure. I could talk about this film for hours.
And we did for one.
It's a good ass movie.
I had fun. Tucker, where can the people find you on the social medias?
You can follow me on the Instagram at the Tuckergram because that's easy. We're doing our final Peter, Paul, and Carly show of the summer that I do with Alec Brown and Carly Hayes.
Woo!
On
Previous guests.
Yes.
previous guests of the pod and your prov peeps.
Yeah.
On June 19th, it's a Wednesday at the Duplex at 7 p.m. Also have my first duo show at Feinstein's 54 Below with my friend Zuni. We're doing a stripped night called Zuni and Tucker Stripped
Ooh,
on July
sexy.
15th. It's a late Monday night show at 11:30 p.m. And then we're bringing it, if you're listening in LA, to Feinstein's at Vitello's on August 19th.
Ooh la la. Very cool. For everyone here at the Meet Cute, if you have any questions, comments, if you do a remix, if you say, hey, I wrote a song and for some reason you want us to hear it.
Yeah, you want Edward and Zach specifically to look at it.
I got notes.
Where can I put the word piss so that it really hits?
I feel like
we'll
we
be right
accomplished
there.
that tonight.
Yeah. We got you.
Yeah.
Feel free to reach out to us at MeetCutecast on Instagram or Twitter, or at themeetcutecast@gmail.com, or always listening. For everyone here at the Meet Cute, my name is Zach.
I'm Haley.
I'm Edward.
All I want to do is piss my bones. Watch Euphoria Sunday nights at on HBO.
Do is see 30 dongs.
If that's you, watch Euphoria. Thank you so much. Have a good night.